back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 with the Road to 56 mod. I almost said Black Ice because I'm just so used to saying that. Okay, we're taking a look. Italy is sort of pushing reasonably well into North Africa. They're holding out here relatively well, as we can see, and are pushing a little bit in here. The Danes are, holding out against us. Now we're going to see with this current setup how the invasion of the Low Countries go. Right, okay. Cross Sedan. Now we have a lot of divisions here. Attach them to here. You're just a spoiling attack into there. Now up here we want to crush, crush, crush. They've got bicycles. Now we've seen the AI build strong divisions. Now the question is, how strong really would have, could have the Dutch built any number of divisions? I would say not very much, not very strong, but that is just my thoughts on it. I would love to hear your comments on unrealistic elements in a game like this. I'll actually come down here and cross this way without crossing a river. Should a country like the Netherlands be incredibly unrealistic in its defensive abilities? And there's a reason to make them so unrealistic, is to give the player a challenge. Hey, you could just walk over them. Well, yeah, that's sort of... no, we don't want Venezuelan troops here. To give the player a challenge. And that is a thing. But why then shouldn't France be conquering Germany? Because it can build a lot more tanks than the Germans can. Yeah, let's start building Pack 40s. And what's our note? Only half of our army was put into division. The Army Corps, the other half were brigade sized and down due to the lack of modern artillery. Yeah. And this goes back to the previous episode we were just making. I'm not a player who wants to say force countries to make bad decisions. Okay, we're here now. Okay, you guys are moving up to here now. You attack here. You attack here, and you guys come across the river to there. Or the straits to there, or whatever. That isn't actually a river. I know that. I actually do know that. How much, here's a good example. Do you want to force the Belgians to not be allied with the French? it would have made good sense to be allied with the French. I say, yeah, sure, fine. You can have a national focus, a decision, or whatever, that the Belgian player, including the player, can be the AI. The AI can be set for different things, but to go, yeah, we're going to align with France because we saw what happened in World War I, and we want to be ready. Okay, Rommel, you have all these damn divisions. Why the hell aren't you pushing them in? So, I'm not for saying, like, oh, you have to do just what happened in World War II. That is not at all what I am suggesting here. Okay, yeah, see here. How did the Dutch stop 14 divisions? Plus, I mean, there was probably more like 21 divisions attacking Arnhem here. And of course, there's also the Panzer divisions. How did they stop those divisions? One of these. Okay, well now they're moving. Track to Amsterdam. We push there. Okay, looks like you're making a little bit of headway there. And you guys can attack there. Send the Horsey division down that way. If you can. Oh, you held them up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, explain to me how you held up these Panzer divisions. Yeah, I know the Panzer divisions aren't the greatest divisions ever, but still. Please explain. And what's chat saying? I mean, I never had a game where they lost Ethiopia, but I just took it until when I say most of the time I see the AI lose, it's in a matter of seconds because 2 or 3 guarding against 12. Mega and the Germans lost a lot of troops due to the fact good defenses around these bridges. And yeah, Arno, I am. What country is this? Send volunteers. Syndicalist Mexico. Yeah. I'm not saying the Dutch can't fight or this terrain is super open and easy to take. I'm more talking about what should be the disparity of forces here. Yeah, maybe not the greatest panzer divisions. And we're down in artillery, we're down in motorization. So is this my fault, people? I'm not talking about the wacky, well, maybe even the whack, you know. I go in spring 40, declare war on Poland. Instead of September 39. That's enough to throw them off. Because all you need is, because what I think threw off the whole thing was the Soviet Union declaring war. All you need is for the we have lots of decisions here. Okay. What? Okay. I hope you're interested in some design philosophy elements here. Diplomacy, unknown focus. Okay. Let's see what they have here. Reconcile Japan Straits. I'm looking for fifth column. Great Purge. Looking for what may be pushing them to declare war on Poland. Definitely recognizing some of this. Okay, here we go. Baltic security, claims in the Baltic. Claims on Poland. Requires at peace with Poland. Poland. Well, if this is... I'm guessing without knowing, and we're talking guessing here. This is what caused the problem. Demand Eastern Poland. And with, see this little arrow here, normally once that's there, it means it's done this. Okay, so this is probably it probably demanded it, and Poland said no. And so the Soviets go to war. What you need to do with that, and again, I'm looking at as a mod maker, game developer, whatever you want to do. So I've done this stuff. What you can do is have this, we can look here, requirements. Soviet Union is fully not in a faction with Poland, is at peace with Poland. Okay, so that means you're not claiming it after you're at war with Poland. You're not claiming it, whatever. I would require Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which we did have, and I would require Germany at war with Poland. That way, they only do this once Germany is at war with Poland. And I would code things in such a way as to not get them at war with France or Britain. Okay, Tippett, have a good night. Yeah, I hear ya. Reload, go back. Because I'm thinking about reloading now here anyways. Okay, so... But you can sort of, kind of figure that out. Now my division strengths. not strong enough. Okay. Well, let's see about doing what Arno's suggesting here. Okay. Isn't Eastern Poland just Soviet land stolen during the Russian Civil War? Hey, IKB. Well, that would include every bit of Poland that wasn't part of the former German Empire. Basically, you can look at like a railway map and see all of the border would be here. Everything else was part of, and it wouldn't be Soviet, it'd be Russian. But every other bit of Poland was part of Russia before 1914. All of Poland was either Russia or Germany or Austro-Hungarian. I don't think Romania got. I don't know. No, Romania was much further smaller down here at the time. So it was all Russia. A majority Polish populated land given to Poland after the Russian defeat in the Soviet era. Yeah, war. Yeah, they fought the communists, but the communists wanted the world. They were, the Comintern, the International Comintern. Okay, well, we're back in 1939 here. Let's look at our infantry divisions. Infantry battalions, artillery, reconnaissance, and okay. Yeah, well, yeah. What, oh. What, they left all that. Okay, start over here. Okay, we're going to give them a reconnaissance company and a support anti-tank company. And then we're going to give them artillery and artillery. Because we have support artillery and 2 artillery brigades. Let's give them two more infantry battalions to the standard division. Now, how does that look? Okay, we need a lot more anti-tank, which we hadn't given them yet, and a lot more artillery than we currently have, but we're still, see this, we're still back here, so we have time to rebuild. Okay, Panzer divisions. Oh, well, before we do all this, what is our... We only have 33 medium tanks. No, so we can't really give them a medium tank battalion yet. Signals company. Okay, let's do that. We have 19 points left. Let's look at our motorized divisions. Okay, well, obviously we need a lot more armored cars for that, which we don't have. Okay, we need more trucks, but I think we can build those. I support anti-tank. Okay. Those lands. She's out of oil. Okay, I think I'm understanding you, Toy Jet. I don't know whether you've lapsed into some sort of pseudo Norwegian or just bad typing. Okay, but put in specialized vehicles in your motorized divisions like martyrs and bisons. Mini stroke. Okay, no problem. Hope you recover from your mini stroke. Yeah, I hear you about the support vehicles, but when I don't have enough trucks, well, you know, same problem Germany had, or enough fighter aircraft as we were seeing here. Okay. Or armored cars. Right. Let's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get you. Or no. Let's look at our resources. Are we? Well, we have a positive of chromium, so let's dump chromium. Steel, we're not importing any. Oh, over here. Okay. Okay. It was looking like more or less we had enough oil. So let's do some more industry. Okay, well, let's continue here. We had a failed start. Maybe that's the thing. I don't want to go back too far. Though we're obviously not at September, but I don't know that we're going to go for a September poll. Well, let's see how well we can do with this. Yeah, never enough oil. Oil, the prize. There's a book and a documentary series called The Prize, and it talks about oil in the 20th century. It was written, I think, either very late 80s or early 90s, so it was covered most of the 20th century. Really good. Talks of, before World War II, World War II, and after World War II. The Cold War era and how oil affects everything. Okay. We know how not to do an airborne invasion. We don't land right into Oslo where it's going to be garrisoned. We know not to do that. Okay, another thing we're going to do. Hello, Army. Because I'm so not used to doing this. Where's the training? Oh, cogwheel. Cogwheel. Here. We're going to train because we're going to try to get more experience points to add to more. Add more army experience. Well, that happened earlier this time. Okay, now we may do this better. Plum's having salad. France declared war on El Salvador. Okay. Can you hear that I'm having a brain aneurysm? What does a brain aneurysm sound like anyways? I don't know. Okay, now we've gone back in time. It's 39. This didn't happen last time when we were here. Diplomacy. It said right ascendant in France just before this. Okay, far right leagues. I don't know where they are. Can anybody, whether live now in chat or later on YouTube, can anybody please explain to me under what reality could we have seen France declare war on El Salvador? Okay. Whether it's Republic, the French Republic, the French monarchy, the French Empire. Well, yeah, we did see under Napoleon III going after Mexico. That did happen, yes. Installed Maximilian of Habsburg there. But yeah, we did see that, and we could talk about that. But so right-wing fascist France, communist France. What on earth? What on earth can you possibly? Yes, it's on historical. I that's a default for me. Yes, Lum is loving this. So, is this somehow? But I don't think even unhistorical. It has to be a decision, a national focus, or something. How? What could El Salvador be doing to France to get France to declare war on it? I would love, I'd love to hear, I don't know, I'm not even sure that this is Road to 56, or this might just be, hey, wacky paradox AI. I'm not absolutely sure. There may be a national focus or a decision there. I don't know. If it's anything that Road to 56, again, I don't want to for sure put the blame on Road to 56, but obviously that's the mod we're playing. And in my opinion, mods should maybe correct wacky things that the AI, the paradox AI might do. Okay, but now the next thing is, we're going to see, and if this doesn't happen, is the U.S. declare war on France. Because there's the Monroe Doctrine in place. And yes, we did just talk about the French Empire, along with Britain initially, but Britain pulls out. Britain really just wants to get... Mexico had gotten a lot of international loans with France and Britain. and then defaulted on them. And France and Britain were still in the days, oh, you mean you have loans out, national, governmental loans. You're not going to even try to pay them back. Oh, okay. We're landing and seizing your ports, and we're going to tax all of the goods coming in and out of the ports. I don't know what the tax would have been. 5%, 500%, I don't know. Some percentage, probably a reasonable percentage, until we're paid back. We want our money back. You don't get to just default on loans. That used to be the old way it would happen. And so Britain really just wanted its money back. France looked at it as an opportunity of adventuresome, of a new French empire. Now, also remember, this was, I forget, I'm going to go 1862. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong about this. But right around 1861, something happens in America, called the Civil War. So European adventuresome elements into Mexico happened when the U.S. was at Civil War. So it had no ability to deal with it. So they were able to do that. So if we were postulating a Kaiserreich weirdness in which there is an American Civil War, then maybe we could postulate whether it's a communist France trying to spread the revolution, or a right-wing France trying to build a new empire. We could possibly postulate the idea of some of that, but this just sounds wacky. Who wants to join our faction? Oh, El Salvador. No, we're not going to go to war with France right now. El Salvador. Wait, was El Salvador in a faction? You fix some bugs, they want to show up. Yes. All I want to know is they insulted the croissants. Maybe, but no, they wanted to join our faction, so that El Salvador was not in a faction. Gamer getting brain aneurysms trying to figure out what the hell is. What the hell? Honestly, this is why people want to play Strategic Command, why the wargaming community that I find over on Slitherine and Matrix despise Hearts of Iron. It isn't because they don't think a lot of this game has neat features. It's that this wackiness is not like, oh, hey, here's Road to Everybody at War with France mod, or DLC, or something like that, that people can make and do make in Strategic Command. There are some different sort of mods like that. But it's, oh God. No. Okay. Well, we need... Yeah, maybe the French AI just went mad, but... The fate of Czechoslovakia. These really should have a pop-up and pause. Yes, we will create the puppet. First Vienna Awards. Yes, we will. Okay. Let's see now. When we give that should go over to Hungary. Yep, there we go. This time it worked more right. Put the squeeze on them. Yeah. Okay. Free military factories. Well, we just got that from Czechoslovakia. Let's look back up here. We need artillery, and anti-tank guns and motorization. So, okay, that will help. Let's continue to increase our fighters as well. Okay, we need more tungsten. Let's get some from Sweden. Again, this just represents high quality Swedish steel, which you can sort of create by mixing steel and tungsten together as an alloy. And we'll get one factory's worth from the Soviets. And what's that? Oh, I think this may be an element of actual trying to be creative with that thing is normal if you play Road to 56. It's something that, yeah, spawns out of Slovenia. This is actually somewhat of a historical thing. It never went independent, but there was sort of an independence breakaway movement down there. It's been actually a few years since I've looked at this. And I've looked at this for my mod and expanded version in Hearts of Iron 4 that's unreleased. There was the SDP, the Sudetendeutsches Party, that, you know, the German movement. But there was a well, I guess it's the KDP, and it changes its names a little bit, but it's sort of the Carpathian Deutsches Party, which is sort of a subset of Henlein's and what's his name, the other guys, SDP, that's happening out in Slovakia. Well, once Germany gets this, you know, Sudetenland, this just becomes the DP because and once Slovakia is separated, because it's now just the German party within Slovakia is going on. But there are other, including regions that are elements that have significant Hungarian-speaking minorities in them, and this was sort of a Ukrainian language minority group out here that we will see that the Hungarians will take shortly. So it never was, my understanding, anywhere near an independent state, but they are simulating some of that. So that isn't the worst thing in all of this. It does sort of surprise you a bit, but that's actually handled reasonably well, at least compared to freaking stability, construction speed. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, no, we're not going to invite you to our faction here. Now, also if you think, oh well, it's isolationist America, blah 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 blah, about El Salvador. At some phase, I think post the fall of France, and it only really becomes a thing that is likely to happen post fall of France, the US basically said no European power is going to take any new territorial conquests in the New World. They would only potentially allow fighting in sort of, shall we say, defense of current colonies. So, Britain can arm up or have military ships in Jamaica, but Britain can't go around occupying French islands. Vichy or Free French. You can't do that. Now, maybe a Vichy French island may, have a little local mini revolution and go from Vichy to Free or Free to Vichy or something like that. But no German troops or something or Italian troops showing up anywhere in sort of, the Americas, wherever you want to draw the line. None of the war spreading to any part of here, because during this time period, well, not this time period, this is before the war starts, but early on in the war and through most of the war, there's a French had an aircraft carrier, people. If you didn't know it, they did. Spent much of the war sitting here in I think this is Guadeloupe, because this is, Martinique, I think. I think this is Guadeloupe up here. Sits in the harbor, a French aircraft carrier through most of the war. Yeah, that's how useful it was. It was called the Burn. The rum supply. Yes, the most important British colony, Jamaica. Yes, the rum supply was very important to the British. And sugar and other things like that they got out of Jamaica. Actually, it was actually quite important. I mean, not as important as Canada or something, but probably more important actually than Newfoundland and Labrador, quite honestly, except for its strategic location of, escorting convoys. They probably got more economic benefit out of Jamaica than they did out of these still directly owned colonies. Yes. Oh, thanks, Arno. Oh, it's called the Burn, right? Yeah, the carrier. So yeah, the French had one carrier. I don't think it was particularly good, but they did have a carrier. So yeah, we know that the U.S. was very insistent upon one. It still wanted its neutrality, but it was going to block, and they didn't want, German submarines surfacing outside of one of these islands, and German commandos, coming aboard, rowing ashore in rubber boats and trying to take the island over, or something like that. Whether you think it was a likely thing to happen or not, the U.S. was no war spreading to the Americas, or it was going to be a real issue. Meaning, not that necessarily that the U.S. is, we're now declaring war on Germany for this. No, it's more like the U.S. is sending in ships and troops and will fight maybe without a war. And do you really want to, if we come in and the U.S. comes in and, kicks out, occupies and captures or kills the forces, do you really want to be declaring war on us over this thing or not? So it was more of that kind of a thing, a real intervention, but without necessarily joining the wider war. Now, of course, somebody like Churchill would try to push getting into the wider war as part of it. I don't know. Yes, with rubber boats. Yeah, I could see it as a theoretical possibility, thinking that they might try that. How are we doing with production here? Hungary declared, yeah, okay, you're gonna grab that up. And again, as I've said before, Czechoslovakia especially, well, no, Czechoslovakia, but especially the one formed after World War I, was a completely artificial state. And I say that on two elements. One, culturally, it did not have a unified vision of a nation. The German speaking peoples that were German, even before they, Austria gets this part of the territory, they don't feel themselves Czech, including a lot of the Germans that lived in places like Prague. There was sort of an upper class element, long predating Czechoslovakia, living in Prague that were German speaking peoples. They didn't feel themselves Czech. The Slovaks didn't feel themselves Czech. And you had right in here these little group of people that this is part of Czechoslovakia at the start of this period. They're Polish speaking. You have Hungarian. Now this border section, I don't know that it's majority Hungarian in any, fully, but there are parts and elements, towns, villages, whatever you want to call them, bits and pieces within this that are majority Hungarian, at least, speaking. So, or KDP types, Germans living there. And so this is culturally not a unified idea. And then, especially if you look from here to here, you don't have a militarily strategic, situation. Here with the sort of Bohemia, the mountains sort of surrounding this valley, we can, hey, this is a defendable region. It's a, a logical reason. It's like, yeah, Jamaica has its borders. Well, it's because of the sea. It's, it's one island. That works. But, what the hell, how is, the Prague government really need this bit of mountains way down here? So it's really just a completely nutty thing that should not have existed the way it did, and is part of a major problem. German engineered rubber boats capable of going across the ocean, indeed better than anything the American Navy could make. Yes, Slum. Now, I was saying in submarines, in the submarine surface, and they put rubber boats into the water and they paddle ashore. Wiener Stichoven being Vienna and that. So yeah, it's... Now, does that mean all this extra territory should be Hungarian? That's a different question, but we do have that. Okay, yes, they've taken that. We've got construction. Very nice. We needed construction because we want to get excavation, get our resources coming in. Yeah, but then again, you don't even know what the ocean is. There's some vague concept that you've heard of, you living in Switzerland. Hey, Azaz. Who has the armies has the land, yes, but he who controls the sea controls the world. Okay, basically just a bigger pond. Yeah. Okay, we want more motorization here. No, we want this one. Okay, we're gonna go 2 more trucks. Yeah. More factories. Oh, what's a good... Okay, we'll put them in here and here. And here. Oh, I'm sort of guessing that he was talking more along the idea of weird rubber suits that Germans seem to want to dress up in at times or something. I don't know, and I don't want to go too far down that road. But yeah. Okay, nationalize aviation. Did look into this a little bit, nationalization of aviation. And they did take over the Junkers plant, but the German government did not want to own most industrial operations. They wanted industrialists. They wanted outside talent developing things. Yeah, Arno has feelings. I've learned that Amsterdam gives the Netherlands a bad name, as it were. Now, I want to see here, since El Salvador is at war. It seems like... Are they still at war with France? Or yeah, they're at war with France, but France declares war in El Salvador and doesn't even have the ability to invade? I don't know. They got colonies over here. And they got colonies out in the Pacific. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to end this episode, not the live stream, everyone. We're going to end this episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking. Please post your comments about my brain aneurysm. I would like to hear what you think about all of this. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.